When it comes to the Star Wars franchise, whether you grew up with the movies, comics, or even the video games, you probably have a lot of memories from that kind of entertainment. There was lovable characters, amazing storylines, and just seeing more that can expand the entire Star Wars universe. And no matter what critics say about the new trilogy of Star Wars, it will live on for generations to come. So today, I will be ranking all of the theatrical Star Wars movies from worst to best. I'm only including all of the main 9 films, along with sort of the spin-offs, Rogue One and Solo. And no, I'm not gonna really put it Star Wars Clone Wars movie, because it's cartoon, and yes, I know it's canon to the entire universe, but I'm just doing live action movies. So without further ado, let's get into this.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Solo, A Star Wars Story is number 11. Now, I'm not saying this is the worst, but it's not the best either. Basically, this is a origin story of Han Solo, with meeting Chewie and escaping the whole galaxy, trying to escape the galaxy with his friend Kira. And as you keep watching, it starts to get more, to me, it gets boring. I don't know why, but it's really boring. I mean, the only highlight to me in this movie is that Childish Gambino, or Donald Glover, plays Lando from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But other than that, it's pretty solid for a Star Wars movie, but it's not the best to me. And also, Darth Maul. Number 10 is The Phantom Menace. Now, this is the weakest prequel movie in the whole prequel trilogy to me, but it is a pretty solid movie too. There is a lot of highlights in this movie: Jar Jar Binks, the pod race with Anakin, Darth Maul's final fight scene, and so much more. Also, they kind of confused Padme as the Queen of Naboo. Number 9 is The Last Jedi. And to be honest, I wish I could love this movie, but it has huge flaws. But compared to the other movies, this is much better than them. But even that, the movie is so boring. It's so, the sequences are too early. Like, for example, Snoke dies too early, and I thought he was going to be used for Star Wars 9, but apparently we find out that he's a clone of Emperor Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker. And also another thing, we also get to see Luke Skywalker, but he does not want to train Rey for some apparent reason, because he thinks that Rey is going to change the same way as Kylo Ren back when he trained Han's son. And of course, we see the weird CGI Ghost Yoda, which, yeah, he's ugly. Then we have another side character, and her name is Rose, as she sticks along with Finn as Finn tries to find Rey after his huge coma from Force Awakens when he was fighting Kylo Ren in the snow. And to be honest, at first I was confused about Princess Leia for her Force, because apparently she was able to breathe in space, but still she had Force powers, which I can see that now because of her heredity of Darth Vader. But yeah, the movie's good, but some of the things happen way too early. Number 8 is Rogue One. Now, for a spin-off movie of Star Wars, this is the best spin-off I've seen yet for Star Wars. Of course, this does take place way before Star Wars A New Hope. And this was apparently the final movie, when The Last Jedi was the final movie that Carrie Fisher, aka Princess Leia, appeared in physically. And we all know, rest in peace. But basically, this is how Star Wars became what it is way before, with this whole group of rebels trying to find plans to destroy the Death Star and send it to Princess Leia. And yes, they do send it to the princess, but as they send it, they all die on the planet with many stormtroopers. Like when the entire planet explodes. Yeah, we get to see lots of cameos. We see Darth Vader, and we actually see Grand Moff Tarkin. And it's pretty crazy because they're using a lot of CGI to put Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. Number 7 is The Attack of the Clones. Now, compared to Phantom Menace, this is way better than what Phantom Menace was. And yes, people are gonna complain about the huge romance between Anakin and Padme. I mean, I don't mind it too much, but yes, I can understand it's taking up a lot of the film. But of course, we know Anakin grows to become older. He just becomes older and is still an apprentice to Obi-Wan Kenobi. But as we move on, we get to meet Jango Fett, Count Dooku, and of course we get to see Mace Windu in action, where he kills Jango Fett. And basically, Jango had a clone son, which is of course Boba Fett. And also, this was the first time we got to see Yoda fight in action, which was really cool at the time. And to be honest, this is a really good film. Although, if they got rid of a lot of the romance, like the huge impact of the romance between Anakin and Padme, and just put it in less, well, we would understand, and it would make the film a lot better. Number 6 is a shocker. It's Force Awakens. Now, the movie is pretty good, although it imitates a lot of its predecessors, much like Amazing Spider-Man imitating the Raimi trilogy. But nonetheless, it's a pretty solid film. We get to see a whole new generation of characters, the whole First Order, and also we get to see returning characters too. We get to see Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Chewie, and of course, for the first time, Luke Skywalker at the end for the continuation of Last Jedi. And yes, I can understand why people hate this entire trilogy as well as the first movie, but to be honest, I really don't mind it too much. We get to see a lot of new characters, and again, it expands more into the Star Wars universe. Number 5 is Rise of Skywalker. Now, this is really controversial for most Star Wars fans, but this movie is underappreciated.
We've passed on all we know.
And I'm not saying it's a perfect film, but it's a really good film.
1,000 generations live in
the
you now.
Emperor has been making clones, especially General Snoke, to take over the entire galaxy with his huge army of Star Destroyers, and it's up to Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron to save the galaxy. along with meeting Lando, and is actually the real actor from the 2, which is crazy. And also, we have to see a lot going on with the Emperor's transformation. And we just found out that Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine. I mean, I thought she was gonna be like a Kenobi or a Bridger, but nope. They just went with a Palpatine. That's crazy. But I I can kind of understand why though. Because back in Force Awakens, she was just performing his lightsaber wielding and his attacks. That's crazy. Number 4 is Revenge of the Sith. Now this is the best movie in the prequel trilogy. And it all starts with Anakin having a nightmare of him becoming Darth Vader and Padme dying by having their 2 kids, Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. But the entire Jedi Council believes that the Emperor is the dark side, which is true, but Anakin joins Palpatine and helps kill off Mace Windu while Palpatine kills the rest of the Jedi. And all the clone troopers, they all kill the entire Jedi Council except Yoda. And of course, Anakin's nightmare became true. He became Darth Vader, Padme died, and the kids and Obi-Wan went to Anakin's parents so they can raise him. And that's how it introduces us. Well, almost introduces to the entire Star Wars series. Now, number 3 should be a no-brainer. It is Return of the Jedi. Now, when it comes to Return of the Jedi, this is one of the best conclusions, at least for the original trilogy. So it starts off with, so if you remember when Han was carbonated and Princess Leia disguises herself and saves him, but Jabba catches her, and Luke is now a Jedi Knight, and he saves everybody after he's captured, and they get out of there, they kill Jabba and his army, and they get out and go to Endor so they can find the defense system for the Death Star 2 plan.
My sister.
Because after the Death Star 1 was destroyed, Death Star 2
Emperor's made a critical error.
constructed into a larger,
The time for our attack has come.
more powerful than the original. And of course, you get to see Anakin,
You can't
or
do
Darth
this.
Vader, and
I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate.
as well as seeing
It
the
is
Emperor die,
too late for me.
at least until we find out
You will bring Captain Solo and
clones.
Wookiee to me.
They celebrate in
can
Endor,
either profit
and it's a happy ending.
be destroyed.
A really happy ending.
This is your
And
last
we also
chance.
get to see the
Free
ghosts
us
of
or die.
Obi-Wan,
Is
Yoda,
Darth Vader my
and
father?
Anakin. Number 2 is Empire Strikes Back. Yes, I know this is one of the best movies of all time. And why is it number 2? Well, to me, it doesn't appeal as much as A New Hope, because it was just a lot going on, such as Han and the rest of the gang getting eaten by a worm. They have to get out of there, and Luke just trying to learn to be a Jedi with Yoda, and of course he doesn't finish training. He loses his arm by fighting Darth Vader, and he gets a new metal arm or mechanic arm, whatever. But he also gets a new lightsaber too, because his hand that he lost had the lightsaber. And of course, this movie is famous for the infamous "I am your father, Luke." And finally, number 1 is obviously A New Hope. Back in 1977, Star Wars was released and became a big hit. So big, Lucasfilms continued on with the entire series and expand more into the universe. And even back in the 70s, this had great visual special effects and even costumes. And yes, James Earl Jones. But overall, the story is pretty good. It's pretty memorable, even though it's 2 hours. And I feel like everyone that wants to watch Star Wars for the first time should watch the Star Wars 4. Because technically, back then, people thought this was the first Star Wars. So that is my ranking. Let me know what you thought of my list, and what is your favorite Star Wars movie in the entire series. And yes, there's rumors that more directors like Kevin Feige is going to direct more Star Wars movies, but it's not going to have Rey and Finn and the entire gang. It's going to be new characters. We don't know who they are, but all we know is that he wants to direct a new Star Wars film.